Here are some important things not to forget when it comes to essentially using your computer as a desktop user. The first one is make sure from time to time restart for upgrades. And what I mean by time to time, really truly it should be done on a daily basis. That is the healthiest way to go about it. Or maybe in other words, whenever you're not using the desktop or computer, you turn it off. That is the healthiest thing that you can do. Now, if you leave it running, is it a big deal? No. But that is the healthiest thing to do to really increase the odds of your computer lasting a long time. Now, if you don't, it doesn't mean that you're going to take years off its life or anything of that sort, but in general, that's technically how it's supposed to be done, is restarting it, or I should say turning it off whenever you're not using it. But also too, it's important to turn it off or to restart your computer, because there will actually be updates from time to time that companies such as like Microsoft automatically need to do an update on the current software, and it'll automatically do it for you, but you need to have those updates. Otherwise, if you don't, there could be certain websites or things you're trying to access online that you won't be able to because the software that you're running on is outdated. It needs to be up to date as much as possible, and by turning off your computer and then turning it back on, if there are any updates that are needed, especially in the beginning, like right when you get your desktop, chances are you're going to have to do a whole run as far as new updates on it, and then from there, it might be a couple months until the next one. But regardless, that's something that you want to make sure that you're doing. The second one is, I always recommend keeping the area clean. Easier said than done, but at the same time too, again, especially when it comes to food, try to keep food away from your computer and whatnot, because again, if any liquid gets on it, then what can end up then happening is, of course, it could ultimately end up ruining that electric part. Water and electric pieces or devices really do not go well together. Another thing too that I say as far as when it comes to food is little crumbs can get in between the keys on the keyboard, and sometimes that can make it hard to press down, and even sometimes too, depending on where you live, those extra crumbs could attract different insects and things of that sort. So, you don't want bugs going around in your, electronics and stuff like that. So definitely I recommend just keeping the area as clean as possible. And then third is making sure that I highly recommend that you download some sort of antivirus software. You can use one of the ones that I personally recommend. I don't endorse or anything of that sort, but I personally use myself, and I had discussed earlier in this course. And those ones I have found to be really helpful. And really up to you whether you do a free or paid version. It's 100% up to you. I personally do free. And I recommend doing that as soon as possible, meaning like when you get your computer and it's just up and going, I recommend opening up some sort of internet, meaning like a browser for the internet, and typing in like whatever browser you want. I personally recommend Google Chrome, typing that in and then getting a free download of that. And then once you have that done, I recommend then going to Google Chrome and type in, antivirus software. And then from there, you can decide, which one you're going to go forward with as far as downloading. With all that said, those are my main things I say for desktop users, especially when you're first starting out using the computer. Don't forget about it. It's going to drastically help you if you do these three things. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video.